I just got here myself. I was referred to arthopeexposed.com.
Well, I strongly support public education and support the university and K through 12. You got any suggestions for higher education? Or got any questions for me? Be glad to answer. I got to go into lunch in a few minutes, but be glad to come back out afterwards.
Who's organizing this?
I don't know.
Perhaps they would like to speak with you.
Hi.
Yes.
Art Pope.
Camera.
Cameron, nice to meet you. Any thoughts or questions?
Will you get a picture with me?
Sure, absolutely. Here. Yeah. What's your name?
Dove Rosenberg.
Art Pope.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Anything I can help you with or questions?
Well, I think that market forces are not the best way to guide public education decisions. So.
I agree. I think public education is a constitutional mandate, important to all our citizens.
Yes.
That's why I work long and hard to improve public education.
Yeah, well, it's the privatizing, putting our public schools, taking away the control of the locally elected school board and putting them
I
under
strongly support local control. When I was in the state legislature, most of the school decisions were dictated by the legislature and state board. That's why I advocate local control and flexibility, primarily at the school board level and within the schools. So we agree with that.
Well, good. Well, so how do you feel about these charter schools that we have all throughout North Carolina, particularly in my county of Durham, where the local school board has absolutely no authority, even though the charters are taking taxpayer dollars?
Charter schools are public schools. That's why we receive less tax funding than traditional district public schools.
Per student.
No one type of education fits all the needs of diverse students we have, diverse communities have. That's why public school. Oh no, that's why you look at the results of the old basic education plan, which is one size fits all.
Well, no. I mean, we have magnet schools. We have different kinds of schools.
And magnet schools are really a variation of charter schools. That's why I've been a strong supporter of magnet schools.
Well, but the problem with the charters.
You have people like Howard Lee, former Democratic state senator.
Yes.
Then went to chairman of the State Board of Education, started in a charter school in Chapel Hill, because there's a meet with Chapel Hill school systems. You're not there, so why would you want to prohibit Howard Lee from opening up a charter school and for parents choosing to send their kids to that charter school?
Well, because I support local control, same as you, and these charter schools don't have any kind of local control. They do receive taxpayer dollars, but they have no financial accountability to the entity where they receive money from.
You go from the state level to the local district
level.
Local district level, literally to the school building. The local controls and the board directors at that charter school, which usually consist of parents, and they're accountable to the same standards at the district school, and they're accountable to the state because they have their charter revoked if they do anything wrong.
Right, but the board for those charters are not elected usually. They're often appointed, so they're not duly elected. And because they're receiving public funds and they're not having to be transparent about the way they're spending money or the rates of attrition when they're sending students back to public education, there's no transparency or accountability that they're using taxpayer dollars and no local
They're
control
receiving taxpayer dollars because
elected.
they're public schools and they're accountable to the state to meet public standards.
But they're not accountable to local control.
We disagree.
Well, wait, Mr. Pope.
Okay, we respectfully disagree on public charter schools.
Yes.
How supporting public charter schools in addition to supporting the traditional public schools being against public education?
Well, I don't say that we should not support our charter schools. I believe that we should.
agree on that.
Well, yeah, I believe we should support local control
We agree on that,
by the
so.
locally elected board. So, I mean, I'd like to see our charters placed under the purview and authority of the locally elected school board in terms of financial accountability, attrition rates, and also diversity.
And there we disagree because then they're no longer a charter school. But
I'm Brian.
Hey, Brian.
So you talk a lot about local control and all this stuff. So why do you spend all this money to get control on people that you support? If it's really local control, then let us have control. Let the students have control. Let the faculty have control. Why do you feel the need to control everything?
I don't feel the need to control everything, and I haven't spent money on taking control.
You've spent money on
students.
Lopan School Board, though. You spent money in the NC legislature. I mean, if it's local control, let the local people decide.
A gentleman named Bob Page, Democrat, has replacement limit and spent more money supporting Democrats in 2000.
I don't care about. I don't want to talk about Democrats or Republicans. I'm just talking about. You say you're for local control. Let local people control what's going on.
The voters do control.
I don't think we really have much of a choice when people, like yourself and your organizations spend who knows how much money because it's not public.
Actually, all the money
funding these.
I spend on elections is public. It's all duly reported.
I mean, I'm sure you spend in PACs and stuff like that.
It's
This money
all
is not
reported.
tracked.
No, the money I gave candidates is reported. The money I gave the independent expenditure efforts is reported. The money that the Polk Foundation spends is reported. The Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation, which is a liberal progressive foundation, is twice as large as the Polk Foundation, spends more money than we. They're good, we're bad. I understand your perspective. But they spend more money than the Polk Foundation does. Bob Page, a Democrat,
I
spent
don't
more
want to
money
talk about
supporting
their money.
Democrats
I don't want to
than
talk
did.
about their money. I want to talk about your money. And
Well,
what
why
we're
don't you want-
we're
they
concerned.
spend money.
We're concerned about that you being on this school board and some of the things you've advocated for the past in the NC legislature in the Wake County School Board is just it can't happen for our students.
Thank you for mentioning the legislature. I have an 8-year term, 4 terms, 8 years legislature. Name one vote I ever made, one amendment I ever filed, one bill I ever filed that hurt
I'm
public
talking about where
education.
your money is connected to and the people that you're supporting with your money and the policies they're creating, and we can't have it.
Give me an example. Groups I support support
the budget-
improving
the
public
budget-
education.
No,
Budget cut is supporting education. Removing the financial aid
I'm
floor
going to have to
is
go in a minute, and I'll come back after lunch. Y'all still here.
Why are you making education unaffordable?
I'm not making education. As a legislator, I supported decreasing. I oppose increases in legislative tuition grants. And legislative tuition. The legislature passed tuition increases that I voted against as a legislator, keeping the cost of tuition down low. Under the state budget from 2006, let me get my dates right. Under Beverly Perdue, the Democrat majority in the legislature
It's
from
not just tuition
2009
that
to
makes education unaffordable.
2010,
You're making
they
financial
cut
aid
more
unavailable.
money. No, I'm not doing anything. I've given money to the public university and helped public education. I have provided help
And where
fund
you choose
scholarships
for
for
it to fund
students.
them.
Pardon?
And where you choose for it to fund, didn't one of your organizations say that?
people who are paid to go.
yeah.
But I'll be happy- more than happy
We
to
work
talk
with
to
the
you.
North Carolina Student Power Union, and we're going to ask you to resign from this board. And if you really care about, because we want control.
You have
This is our
competing
education.
interests.
Student participation in our education.
I'm all for student
All right, so
participation.
Well, then can we be appointed to the board rather
can you
than-
please
You got to
resign?
ask Dr. Tom. You got to ask Tom Ross, the president. I didn't ask to be on the
you
board.
can
He
still
asked me.
resign,
Talk
though.
to him.
We were locked out of the meeting last year during the tuition hikes. Unfortunately, we weren't able to be in that discussion, and as much as we would love
And last year,
representation,
that board of governors had a majority of appointees from Democrats. I think I had nothing to do with that.
well, I guess
Can
what I'm
you-
saying,
can you
we've been
continue to
locked
have
out.
nothing to do with it, and please resign from this board. We
Why,
would really
why should
appreciate that.
I'm doing this as a service. I have a long history of service to the state. I've been asked to do this by Tom Ross, the former president of the Reynolds Foundation, by the way. There are Democrats on the board like Janet Cowan, elected Democrat, state treasurer, very prominent Democrat donors as well.
You have
It's a
an
very
equally long,
broad.
you have an equally long history of funding organizations that want to you have an equally long and well-documented history of funding organizations that want to dismantle public education, that want to get rid of multicultural centers on campuses.
Y'all are here after lunch. I'll be glad to talk to you.
Thank you for talking with us, and thank you for all the work you do with the IOPL. Really appreciate it.
What time will that be?
A good friend of mine did, and I'm thinking about starting.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Art Pope has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Art Pope has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Art Pope has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Art Pope has got to go! Woo!